My wife and I are both deaf. My wife's family and my family are both all hearing, so we envisioned hearing children. We prepared, for hearing schools. When our son Dylan was born and he was deaf, that whole mindset changed. When we had the twins, when they were born, I wasn't expecting one to be hearing and one to be deaf.
When I found out one of my girls was deaf and one was hearing, that was really tough. I envisioned, both of them going to school together and playing sports together, being on the same team, having their journeys be parallel. It was a little heartbreaking when we realized it wasn't going to be like that.
I reached out to RUSD, and they came out to do an evaluation on Ella. For Emily, she participated in it, but because she was hearing, she didn't qualify for services. Emily knew her colors, knew her alphabet. Ella wasn't quite as advanced, so she was able to qualify, and she started the PIP program. I would watch what they would teach when they were doing in-home services. And then also, in our parent-infant program, they would do some explanations as to different areas that she would need to work on, and we would work on things at home in certain areas, whether it be colors or her numbers, finger spelling, just simple like 1 to 5, and then practice her alphabet.
Early language, especially for children, deaf children, or children with additional disabilities, is so very important. We need to provide language as early as we possibly can.
It's so important for kids to attend early intervention and preschool programs. It's the start of belonging and meeting friends and inclusion. It's important for families as well to find community and connection. Around 2.5 years old is when we start the transition planning so that families can understand what it looks like to go from early start to a preschool program.
Before a child starts in a district program, a county or state program, the early start providers, the school team, as well as, most importantly, the parents will get together after a lot of communication and some assessments are done to develop an individual education program plan, otherwise known as an IEP. An IEP is similar to an IFSP, or Individual Family Service Plan, that supports the child and the family while they were receiving early start services. It is so important for the parents to share all those wonderful things about their child, what their hopes and dreams are for their child, and for the parents and the school team to work together to develop a plan that is based on the recommended goals, supports, and services that meet the unique needs of their child. Anytime a parent requires support with communication, the school team will provide interpretation services so that the parents can fully communicate with the school team.
When we help a family transition, that early start provider will be able to bridge and make that connection with what services they're currently getting to transitioning that to the school setting.
Once Ella qualified at Riverside School for the Deaf, she did pretty well. I think there were certain areas that she needed to improve in. She doesn't express her feelings as much, so it takes a little bit longer to really get those feelings out of her. And now that she's in pre-K, we've noticed she's able to be more expressive.
How I help the parents with a successful transition is me as the teacher. I'm responsible to engage the parent, to assure them that they are part of this community. I love to teach preschool because I love to see growth in the kids, and I love to make a difference in these children's lives.
I knew from Dylan's experience, I knew Ella was going to thrive socially. Emily, I was still concerned about because communication was still really difficult for me to interact with her teacher. For deaf parents who have, a hearing child, make sure you ask the teacher for information. Request an interpreter if necessary, so that way you know your child is progressing in school.
Ella is really thriving in preschool. She's interacting with her peers, her acquisition of concepts within the class. She's able to write down her first name. She's working on number retention and themes. Oh, I just see so much growth within her.
Ella's very independent. She wants to do things all on her own. She does not like having someone teach her. She wants to do it herself. It's definitely challenging. She's very assertive, high energy. Ella loves being at school. She loves having her friends.
What I love about Riverside is the community. It's so vast and diverse in backgrounds, some that sign proficiently, some that come with cochlear implants, some that use oral ways of communication. It's so hard to put it into words, but it is so special. I will say community. if I had to boil it down to one word. We support each other. It's a small community when you compare us to the hearing population, but we have our own culture. Our language is its own sign language.
When I moved from Sacramento, I didn't know anyone. Nobody. It was scary. So I started to make connections with other families and other moms. It makes me feel a little bit better to have discussions about our kids who are in the same program.
It's important to me that parents have that network. It's important that they have that connection with the school. It is so critical that the school becomes a safe place for the parents. Those parents develop a wonderful community within each other. Those families often develop long-standing friendships.
The deaf community here is amazing. Here in the Riverside deaf community, we are always very welcoming. If there's a new person in the group, we love welcoming them into the support system here.
Today was National ASL Day, and we had such a special event. The Early Childhood Education Department went to the library to receive a presentation by John Savage, and he just is a stunning communicator and artist. So we were there as he brought a story to life about a cub, which is our mascot here. It was cool, it was fun, and after we were able to see that story, the students went up on stage and talked about their own experiences with cubs, and that was just adorable. It was really an opportunity to celebrate American Sign Language.
Often I think parents feel like, well, I have a child that may be different, and that child is different, so we're not going to have the same experiences as a typically developing child. Coming to school, being involved with their community, their child sees they have a class full of friends that are just like them.
It's really important to have a community for the social aspect, not just events. The kids all have that constant interaction. Not only deaf kids, but there are also CODA children that can all interact together. They have their own peer group that children learn from, and it's a lot of fun for them. Ella will always be involved in Emily's world. Emily will always be involved in Ella's world. They both will have different experiences, but both of them will learn from each other.